Welcome to A Bunny a Day April, where each one of these not quite entertaining but informative vlogs will contain a plush bunny, or maybe a set of plush bunnies that I've obtained over the years, starting with my very first when I was a baby to the ones I have purchased recently. Y'all, it's Caturday, and let's talk about the greatest cat in novel history. I mean, if you want to call them novels. And cinematic history, for that matter, as well. I saw the most disturbing thing on Twitter yesterday, and I've already made a short of it for those who've seen it, and it's also on TikTok, about Netflix redoing the Chronicles of Narnia, but gender swapping Aslan, and talking about Meryl Streep doing the voice. Well, okay, first of all, you're gonna have to take the mane off because female lions don't have manes. Then it's gonna look really stupid. No, I thought Disney was a piece of shit for gender swapping Jock and Lady and the Tramp and then adding puppies at the end of that. So, if you don't want to see that, don't watch the live action Lady and the Tramp. It is horrible. It is almost as bad as the new Snow White, apparently. Well, I don't know. IMDb gave it a 6.6 for some weird reason, but that one's down there for me, because that was one of my childhood favorites. That and Little Mermaid were my childhood favorites. But to be fair, the Chronicles of Narnia I loved more. But remember, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. So guess what? I had the BBC Chronicles of Narnia. Oh, and guess what? They actually went up to the silver chair with theirs. You didn't see Disney do that. That and, I feel like Disney got sloppy as fuck with the rest of the ones that they did. They were not as good. The first one was perfect. And now on TikTok, I got a shit ton of comments most of them agreeing with me on this whole thing, that this is horrible. And the best comment of all was Liam Neeson for the voice of Aslan or no one. No offense to Ronald Pickup, who did the BBC voice. His, for the time, was perfect. But yeah, no one but Liam Neeson can ever be the voice of Aslan. Aslan even is described, first of all, in the books as being a he, not a she. Second of all, he has a very gentle but commanding voice. Oh, and didn't Liam Neeson prove that he already has that? Being Obi-Wan Kenobi? Come on now. Aslan was let's just say Aslan was my childhood hero, and still kind of is. I'm an adult now. Obviously, I know it's fake, but alright, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, because I don't give a fuck anymore what anybody thinks. There are times when I wish, and C.S. Lewis even said that he didn't mean to make the first one basically a Jesus story, and a lot of people said in the TikTok comments that doesn't Aslan represent Jesus? Well, C.S. Lewis didn't mean for that to happen, it just happened. So there's really nothing he can do it. And C.S. Lewis was a Christian, just so y'all know, so he is in heaven. And seeing this, he's just up there going, ugh. Captain Picard epic facepalm. Or more like the facepalm meme where the hand just goes straight through his head. Because I do have a book on... It's called The Problem with Pain, and it is Christian based. But he gears it more towards those who aren't Christians, even though, like, he was one. So, like, if, Chronicles of Narnia was your childhood, and you read it, and I want to start reading them again. Like, why can't somebody start with The Horse and His Boy? That's technically the first book. It just wasn't written first. Like, if you're gonna remake something, first of all, finish it. Now, I get, because the BBC, and I never watched the animated, I don't care. When I see something live action, I don't want to see it animated. I tried watching Bad Batch. I tried watching the Clone Wars animated. Like, I can't do it. I'm used to seeing Star Wars live action. And it's weird seeing it animated. Now, Bad Batch actually was good, but I just really don't have time to watch a lot of stuff. And I'd rather watch movies anyway. But when you gender swap something that's been a certain gender for this long, you're just really asking for a special place in hell. I mean, it is what it is. And a lot of people to cancel their Netflix subscriptions. Like, I'm not the one paying for it in this house, but if I was, I would cancel it if that really was true. I would be like, nope, bye. Don't need you, Netflix. You fucked up my ultimate childhood. Don't need you at all. Don't need you fucking up any more of it. Now, to be fair, Watership Down, the Netflix adaptation for that. Now, the BBC one was meant for TV, which is, of course, how I saw it. Now, Netflix adaptation for Watership Down, I did see, before I even watched it, I saw a video comparing the original BBC animated with the Netflix one. And I was like, alright, well then I will watch it for myself to see what it's like. And actually, I thought it was phenomenally done. I do agree with the whole complaint of Hazel and Clover getting romantic. Because rabbits don't get romantic IRL. They just don't. They just do what comes natural. They do not get rabbits do not get romantic. And you could definitely tell. And I'm like, wait a minute, you could tell it in the animated one too. There's one moment where you can tell. It's when Hazel comes back to the freaking cage. The way Clover says his voice is very seductive. So they both fucking did that, so who the fuck cares? Like, at this point. It's just sad because the BBC animated one eliminated key characters in their version. But then again, you turn around, Netflix also eliminated key characters that the animated one actually did use. So, they're both good in their own way, but for old fuddy-duddies like myself, I grew up with the animated, therefore it is my favorite of the two. For that reason, because it is my childhood. And people say, oh, that's childhood trauma. No. That's animal behavior. If y'all ever fucking watch nature shows, you know how vicious and violent animal behavior is in the real world. You just don't see it every day. Sit down and watch hours and hours and hours of nature shows and you'll see the truth. Like I did. Because thanks to my grandfather, who recorded a shit ton of nature shows for me, and I loved watching them, and I learned a lot of stuff watching them. Oh, and guess who narrated the majority of those? My other hero, David Attenborough. I learned a lot watching that. Now, obviously, David Attenborough's not a Christian, so of course the word evolution and all that other atheistic shit was in there, but I was smart enough to ignore that part. But I learned things about animals that I didn't know before, and I saw, the reality of how they are. There was no trauma to that. It was reality. You can't call reality trauma. They animated reality, basically, when they did Watership Down. And the whole little weird, abstract animated story at the beginning, like, obviously that's fake, because God made the world. Frith didn't make the world. But the whole little story with that is accurate as far as rabbits having many enemies. They do. Not saying, well, okay, Garden of Eden, yes, they were. Everything did live in harmony. But with the sin, animals changed too. So that's pretty much the gist of that. So yeah, like, if this really is true, and Netflix is planning to do this, well, it ain't gonna get my view. Like, and I pay for Disney Plus. I ain't watching Snow White as soon as it hits the fucking app. Like, no. You could not pay me money for that. And if this happens, you ain't paying me money to watch that on Netflix neither. I mean, it'll only be on Netflix, but it ain't happening. They didn't ruin Watership Down completely. They made it enjoyable, but if you're gonna do this with Aslan, my childhood hero, or I should say childhood fictional hero, because that's more or less what it is, you're not gonna get my support on that. And there's a lot of people who are with me on that, and it's gonna bomb. Hopefully it ends up with just as low a rating as Snow White. That's all I'm gonna say. So, despite the continued negativity of having to fucking work today, well, I actually got lucky. I get a break from exceptions. Well, kind of, not really. But today's bunny, well, it's going to be a set of bunnies, because my next door neighbor had a set of plush bunnies that I always really liked. And then when we got older, she didn't want them anymore, so she ended up giving them to me. So first, we have a white one. I have no idea where she got these from, but they are cute. And I've always kept them just because. I mean, this one really does remind you of Clover, because in the animated movie, Clover was white. And then obviously this one doesn't really represent one of them, but it's cute. It has pink beans. And it's fuzzy. and it's lop-eared. I was gonna say there was no lop-ears in Watership Down, so. And then there's this cute little one holding a dandelion. I like this one a lot. I actually have two bunnies holding a dandelion. This one and another one. I think the other one I found at like Goodwill or something. But yeah, these three were the ones that she had, and she knew I loved Watership Down and loved those. Was collecting plush rabbits, so she ended up giving to me anyway when I got older. So yeah, I still have them. Not saying that she'd ever watch this, because she kind of quit being my friend, but, you know, if she should ever see it, yes, I still have these three, and I'm not going to get rid of them because, hey, they're cute. They'll never stop being cute, and I'll never stop collecting plushies. Hope your Saturday's amazing. Be nice to retail employees if you go shopping. And if you see online shoppers, do us a favor. Weekends are just as busy in the store as the orders we have to pick, so please stay out of our way. Thank you.